Namaste. Today on Touch of Light, I want to talk about concentration. You know, at Ananda, we teach meditation and we practice meditation. And so over the years, I've found that concentration, the ability to hold your mind one-pointedly, is probably the most difficult thing for all meditators. I certainly feel that way myself, even though I've been meditating for more than 50 years. So how can we hold our mind on one point and not let it go off and on, off and on? Reminds me of a joke I heard about two carabinieri. Now this is an Italian joke, and carabinieri are kind of the butt of jokes that talk about people who aren't very intelligent. You may have the same kind of jokes in India or in other cultures. At any rate, two carabinieris are driving down the road, and the driver thinks, I wonder if the turn signals are working. They don't seem to be working. So he says to the man in the passenger seat, he said, roll down the window, put your head out, and see if they're working. And so the passenger does that. And then he looks out and he says, now they are, now they aren't. Now they are, now they aren't. Now they aren't, now they are. And it's even funnier in Italian. Adesso sì, adesso no. Adesso sì, adesso no. And so I often feel that my meditation practice is a little like that. Now I'm concentrated, now I'm not. Now I am, now I'm not. And you may feel that same way. Here are 3 quick, easy things that will help your concentration. The first is that when you sit to meditate, you have an intention of concentrating. Too often we just kind of drift in and our minds are distracted and we're thinking of this and we're planning and projects. If we don't intend to really concentrate, we aren't going to. So enter your meditation with the intention to concentrate. Secondly, relaxation is really important. So practice the simple technique of going through your body and relaxing each body part deeply so that your body is relaxed, and then relax your mind by letting go of anxieties and fears of projects, of plans. Just let that go. They'll all wait for you. They'll be there when you come out of meditation. Let them go for a little while. And then finally, in order to concentrate, we have to have a point on which we concentrate. And that can be many things, but the simplest and the most basic one is simply to concentrate on the breath. And so watch the breath. As you inhale, watch the breath come in. As you exhale, watch it go out. We teach a technique called Hong Saw technique, that as you inhale, you mentally chant Hong, and as you exhale, you mentally chant Saw. But having this point of focus for your mind will help you at least be able to not only concentrate, but see when you're not concentrating, and then be able to bring your concentration back. And so it is a problem. Concentration is a problem that all meditators have. If you have that problem, don't get down on yourself, but use these 3 simple things: relaxation, intention, and the focal point of the breath in order to be able to concentrate more deeply.
Namaste. Today, our touch of light is called Getting Caught. I want to share with you a quite beautiful experience that I had some years ago. I was taking a personal retreat at an ashram of my guru, Paramahansa Yogananda, which is along the California coast near a town called Encinitas. And the hermitage is right on the cliff. So if you go out in the evening, you can look out and see the Pacific Ocean. It's quite beautiful. Well, on this particular evening, I had finished meditating and I was going for a walk along the cliff. And the evening was so beautiful. It was as though Divine Mother was there in the sky, in the clouds, in the sunset, in the beautiful, calm Pacific Ocean. And it was like she was wearing beautiful garments of aqua chiffon and coral silk and velvet, blue-gray velvet. And I just thought, oh, Divine Mother, you're so beautiful. You're everywhere. And then in that moment when I was feeling this very broad perspective, something caught my eye. And there was a little movement out on the ocean, and I started focusing on that. And it was a man who was riding a surfboard, riding the waves up onto the beach. And then there was another one. And my attention immediately was diverted from this beautiful vision of Divine Mother in the sky and the ocean to these two little men riding surfboards. Who's going to go first? Is one going to fall off? Are they going to make it? And at a certain point, I just had to laugh because I realized this is what it must be when we're in the astral world and we just have this, we haven't taken incarnation yet, and we just see the beautiful expanse of infinity. And then we look down and we see a little drama on earth. And we think, oh, look, there's a nice mother and a nice father. Maybe that would be a nice family to be born into. And oh, that man could be my brother. And boom, we make that decision and we lose the big picture and we take once again another incarnation and we pause and we think, how did I get here? And so what I'd like to share with you as the takeaway point from this story, in the midst of all of the dramas in your daily life, try to remember the big picture. Try to remember that all the little episodes of your life are just passing dreams. They're not real in and of themselves. But what is real is the vast consciousness behind all of creation, the beauty and love and joy of Divine Mother that permeates all of creation.
Namaste. Today on Touch of Light, I want to talk about a really important attitude, and that's not to compare yourself to other people. One of the biggest problems in life and biggest problems on the spiritual path is that instead of just being centered in ourselves, instead of taking each day and each hour as it comes along, we are so often comparing our performance to other people. And if it was just the comparison to people around us, that would be one thing. But we have, as human beings, the tendency to compare to the person that seems to be perfect. So if you're afraid that you're not very beautiful, you don't compare yourself to the person on the bus next to you. You compare yourself to the most beautiful actress that is up on the screen. If you're an athlete, you don't compare yourself to the person jogging that you're probably passing and you're running. You compare yourself to Olympic athletes. And so we tend to compare ourselves to those people that are unattainable in our simple lifestyle. I had a friend who had moved to India, and he said that for the first many years, 5 or 6 years, he had a lot of difficulty feeling relaxed, feeling comfortable, because coming from the U.S., he compared everything. He compared traffic, he compared cleanliness, and so on. The various things that he saw around him, he always thought back, oh, that isn't the way that they did it back home. And then he realized that that was making him unhappy. And he just accepted everything that was around him as being exactly what it should be. And as soon as he did that, he was able to open up and enjoy the experience of being in India and the beautiful, wonderful variety and scope of life that India offers. And then he was able to be very happy being in India. There is a tendency to want to change the circumstances. One of Paramahansa Yogananda's most advanced disciples one time knew that a test was coming toward her, and she prayed to God, show me the right attitude in this test that's coming. And the prayer immediately came into her life. Change no circumstance in my life, change me. So that beautiful mantra, change no circumstance, change me, will get you through a lot of rough spots in your days and months ahead.
Namaste. Today, our touch of light is called saying goodbye. A few years ago, when Swami Kriyananda was getting Ananda Sangha started in India, he asked Jyotish and me if we could spend more of our life in India to help here. And we replied, certainly we could, Swami. We've been, in fact, giving away more of our responsibilities and training other people to take over a lot of what we were doing. And he said, very good. We should all live our life in such a way that if we were to leave this world tomorrow, we would have everything in order. That was a very good message. And it reminded me of a dramatic episode in our own life some 30 years earlier. This was June, to be specific, June 28th, 1976. And Jyotish and I have a grown son. He was just an infant at the time, 10 days old. And I was going to take him for a checkup. But I looked around the house where we lived at Ananda Village, and I thought, oh, it's not very tidy. Let me clean it up before I go. And I did what I could. And then I remember very poignantly standing at the door of our house, holding our little son, and looking out at everything, looking at the plants and the furniture and the windows, and just thinking, oh, how lovely everything is. And that was the last time I ever saw any of it, because by the time I returned that evening, a forest fire had come through the community and burned to the ground our home and most of the other homes that were standing at that time. And that was a very powerful experience in my life, as you can well imagine. But it was also one of the greatest blessings in my life, because I learned so much from that. I learned where the power of my own soul rested. It wasn't in things. We'd lost everything we had. I learned where my security rested. It was all within myself. And so I would share with each of you this advice about how to say goodbye in life, because we never know from day to day, will I be here tomorrow? So I offer these 3 tips. 1, be sure that you live your life in such a way that you do your best at everything. There's no regrets. There's no looking back. Today, I did the best I could in every situation. 2, be sure to tell people that you care about, that you love them. Because who knows, if it's the last time you'll see them, make sure they know, not with attachment, not with anxiety, but just with the thought, this is important in my life and I'm grateful to you. And then 3rd, live your life in such a way that if God calls you, you say, here I am, Lord, I am ready to go. Loss is nothing to be feared. It's something to bring you greater understanding and a deeper experience of what's real in this life.